No matter what platform you call home for your video game adventures, almost every single person has been anticipating the follow-up to The Witcher 3 from CD Projekt Red, known as Cyberpunk 2077, as this game is making its way to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Google Stadia, all on September 17th, except for Google Stadia. And I'm here to tell you why it's okay to be pissed off about this, and why it's really okay to be really pissed off at Google. I'm Brian from Club Stadia. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click subscribe. Get yourself notified for new updates to the channel, which we drop every single Tuesday at 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time. We talk about the latest news, analysis, and reviews on the world of Google Stadia. And then every other Friday, we host the Stadia Initiative podcast right here on this channel at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which this week it is Stadia Initiative week. So episode number 5 will be happening on Friday. I bring in Chase from Stadia Talk, Eddie from Eddie Player One, Meg, also known as Megatron X, Germani, also known as 64 here on YouTube, and of course the always electric MM2K from Stadia Dosage. We all get together every other week and we talk about the latest in Google Stadia. And then on Saturday, we're going to do a benefit stream for Black Lives Matter. We'll be doing Just Dance. Yes, Just Dance at 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And we'll be raising money for the Black Lives Matter organization. And if you cannot make that stream, you can donate ahead of time. The link is in the description below. But if you happen to be in the stream and you have donated at least $10 or more, you'll be able to pick the next song I dance to on stream. Yes, I will. Yes, I'll make a playlist so you can pick which song you want to do. More information about all that will be over on Twitter at Club Stadia TV. And it's just something that, you know what, I'm tired of just talking. I want to take some action. So that's what we're going to do. I hope to see you there. Again, 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time this Saturday. And then stay tuned to the end of the video, as I'm going to be talking about live streams here on the channel and maybe the future of them. So stick around for that. But I think it's time we talk about Google Stadia, Cyberpunk 2077, and why it's okay to be mad. Okay? All right, let's start here. So, Cyberpunk 2077, if you have not heard at this point, which everyone else covered it except for me at this point, it's not coming day and date with the other platforms. Now, people have been quick to point out this isn't actually news. This has actually been kind of told already at one point when the game wasn't initially, or at least when the game was initially coming in April, Stadia wasn't going to get it that day. Now, okay, that's fine. The delay happened in April to September. Now, a lot of people assumed that this means that we're going to have that extra window here, so Stadia will have no problem, making that deadline coming out the same day. And people had every right to believe that. Now, May 29th, I believe, is when the press release came out from CD Projekt Red, the team behind Cyberpunk 2077. And people missed it, or at least not missed it, they just never saw it because it's a press release. It's not really the general consumer thing to go look at press releases. It's just not what people do, okay? But that's not Duncan. Duncan over at StadiaSource.com was able to find this press release and made it known to the world that CD Projekt Red was not releasing Cyberpunk 2077 day and date with Google Stadia, and this is what read in that press release. Cyberpunk 2077 will be released on the 17th of September 2020 for the PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. By the end of the year, the game will also make its debut on Google Stadia. Further information can be found on the game's official website and on its Facebook and Twitter profiles. Now, this is a press release. As I already mentioned, this is not a general consumer thing to go out and look for. So someone like Duncan, who works with StadiaSource.com, this is kind of what he does. He looks for these kinds of things because that's the kind of journalist that he is. He wants to make people known about things that, companies like CD Projekt Red aren't necessarily making very public. Because here's what they are making public. If you look at the splash page for cyberpunk.net, this is what it looks like. Okay, so you can see, you got the main character here. You got the cinematic trailer right next to him. You got all the social media logos on top of that. You got the CD Projekt Red logo in the top right corner. Underneath that, it says coming September 17th, 2020. Pre-order now. And underneath, you have 4 logos. You got the Xbox One, you got the PlayStation 4, you got PC, and then you got Google Stadia. Now, here's what the general consumer will actually see. They will see this website. They're not going to go see a press release. They're going to see this website telling you September 17th is when you can expect Cyberpunk. But, it should say but in there, except for Stadia. Because if this press release is to be believed, which it should be, it's official from CD Projekt Red, then what we see on their main website that every consumer that is interested in this game and wants to look at the website for will see that Stadia will be there on September 17th. The general consumer doesn't know this unless they look for a press release, and that is not a general consumer's job. That is the developer, that's the publisher, and maybe sometimes it might be the platform holder, but let's put the blame mostly on CD Projekt Red for this, because this is still on their website after this press release has gone public, not just from StadiaSource.com, but IGN's picked this up, Forbes has picked this up, and as much as I love Stadia Source, those two are pretty big publications that people know the names of without any kind of blink of an eye. But we still see this on the website. Why is this happening? Okay. We don't know why. We don't run the website. This may be just a marketing thing. But the fact of the matter is, you look at this website, if you are a consumer just looking for information on this game, one of the first things you may do, besides going to their Twitter or Facebook page, is going to the actual website. Why does this appear this way? It's usually we have the problem of not seeing that logo. The Stadia logo underneath doesn't usually appear in these kind of things, and that's typically been our problem. Is it's just not appearing when it should be appearing, but now it's appearing when it's apparently not supposed to. That's not okay. This is what people are having a problem with, and you can talk about the people that have said, "Well, Cyberpunk was never meant to be day and date." This says differently. Perception, as my good friend MM2K says, is 9/10 of the law. Perception is a big deal. In fact, ask our good friends over at Google Stadia how perception's working out for them, because currently the public perception of Google Stadia from its fans and detractors, not good, okay? We talk about this almost every other month. Communication. Asking the last time Google Stadia has made a tweet of any kind or made any kind of news-related thing with their community. I think it's been about 10, 11, 12 days. Now, typically, we shouldn't go look for Xbox and PlayStation to say, okay, here's what you should expect. Here's what you should expect. We just know because these platforms, they have been solidified. They are out there in the public. Everyone knows about them. Everyone knows what's coming to them. Stadia's in a little different spot, however, because they're kind of new, so they're going to need to kind of push a little bit more. The situation is just kind of indicative of that. Now, is it Google's place to make you know that Cyberpunk is not coming day and date? No, it's not. It should be CD Projekt Red coming out and saying, this game is not going to be on release date with the other platforms that you are hopefully going to get. So you can say, guess what? Well, guess what I'm already playing? Guess what day one patch you're downloading? Yeah, guess what? I'm already 3 hours into the game. That's right. That was going to be the awesome argument we could play against those other, console guys that are so quick to detract Stadia and what it does. Now, the good thing about Stadia is you can have those no download experiences, but according to what we know so far, by the time we get our hands on this game, people might have played through this game a couple times. All right, no communication whatsoever from anyone. CD Projekt Red is expecting a press release to pick up steam to do that job for them, when that's not the main point of a press release, at least in this regard. You want to tell your consumers, the people that are expecting Google Stadia to have Cyberpunk on day and date with other consoles, because why wouldn't it? Now, there's reasons why it could be. And maybe COVID has something to do with it. Maybe they're waiting for the Generation 2 side of Stadia development kits being done. Maybe some ray tracing is going to be added to it. Maybe they want to make it day and date with the other new consoles coming out in the fall. Maybe. We don't know. We really don't know, and that's a problem. We need to know why. But Google needs to step up themselves, and I know this is probably asking too much. It's not like Spotify is going to come out and say, well, your favorite album or your favorite band's next album is going to be delayed. That's not on Spotify, and that's a great analogy I saw on Reddit. I don't know who said it, but it was a great analogy. That's not Spotify's job. By, using that analogy, it's not Google's job to say that Cyberpunk's delayed. But we're in this world where we're not hearing anything from the platform that we are so invested in and that we are sitting here defending when it's not our job. And Google's been silent. Now, last week was a little different story. They had every right to be silent, but I'm okay with that. I respect it, and that's fine. Monday, today. And by the time you see this video, it'll be Tuesday. But today, absolutely no peeps. Now, they still do like their, their technical assistance with people that are having issues, but that's not the front line of what the Stadia accounts for. There's no PR rep. There's no one talking to people. Community managers disappeared. There's no communication, and the Cyberpunk issue is, whether you think it's a big deal or not, it really is a big deal. The fact that we're not getting any kind of communication from Google, CD Projekt Red, no one, we belabored this point back in the winter. This is why is this still an issue? I'm looking at the date. It's June 8th. It's going to be June 9th when this video comes out, and we haven't heard from Google in almost 10 days. I was predicting we're going to get Connect on the 9th. That's not going to happen unless they shadow drop that, which would just, of course, be what Google does, because it's all they apparently do. They just drop these things, which is cool in certain aspects, but a lot of people want to anticipate things too. How do you build up that kind of, brand value if you don't have any anticipation, something to keep pushing, something to advertise? Can't just keep dropping things out of the sky, and Google thinks that's okay. They do. And it's not. And people are starting to get antsy with the platform that they are trying to make their own. And Google is continuous perception that they don't care. I know they care because of the amount of money they're spending for the platform. Why would you hire some of the biggest names in gaming like Sham Studstill, Jade Raymond, Phil Harrison, all these people? Why would you bring them into the fold if you didn't care? They do care, but here's what they don't get. They don't get what they're into. They do not get the gaming community. They don't get that gamers do need this constant attention. And I'm guilty of that. I get mad when I don't see a new thing for 10 days. I mean, I'm not just necessarily talking about last week in specific. I mean, there was a huge lull they had back in the winter, but there are people that are far, far angrier than I am, and I'm far more forgiving. Like, when I look at the news, one of the first things I thought about was maybe, just maybe, Stadia is being held back because of ray tracing or something to match it with next-gen consoles. But again, we're not getting told that. Google's not providing any kind of roadmap for this game or for features in general. And they're leaving us all in the dark. And it's not okay. And I know anyone that comes to this channel that's not a Stadia person, the first thing they say, oh, this guy, his name's Club Stadia. He of course, give me bias. No, there's things that Google does that pisses me off. And I don't talk about it all the time because I'm more of a positive person. I want to talk about the good things. Why would I want to waste all my time with negative energy? That's no fun. But these kinds of things need to be said because this just, I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of us looking this bad. Whether Google needs to step in themselves and say, all right, CD Projekt Red, we had this awesome agreement with Bungie. We helped them out. We got Destiny 2 recreated for Stadia in less than 6 months. How can we help you? This game, whether Google wants to admit it or not, is going to be a game changer in the world because this game is so anticipated. It comes from a company that is, I don't know what to say. The quality, pretty freaking high, all right? They're not going to put a game like The Witcher 3 on the Switch and have it just suffer. They're going to make sure it's taken care of, all right? A game like this, a game that has a crap load of development behind it, a game that has gone out of their way to get Keanu Reeves the freaking star in it, they are taking care of this, and they're going to make it a huge, huge thing. And Google is letting them get away with what they're going to do. That's not okay. Google needed to step up here, and as far as we know, they're not going to. And as far as we know, CD Projekt Red doesn't really care either because they still have that Stadia logo, and they're anticipating on not giving this game to Stadia users on the 17th of September. And frankly, that's not okay. Of course, there's a caveat of a couple things. Yes, what has gone on in the world in the last few months might have played a part in it. It might have. Just a little bit. Okay? I can understand that. I can concede to that. And it's not necessarily that the game's getting delayed. Yes, that sucks. And I know I've kind of talked about that's pretty much the crux of this whole narrative that I'm telling you about. It's the communication aspect of it. CD Projekt Red has not been public facing, at least from a consumer standpoint. You can make press releases to all the businesses you want, but you're not going to have Johnny, who just, started playing on Stadia a month ago, know about this until his friends are playing on the PlayStation 4. He's like, well, why isn't it on Stadia right now? I thought it was coming to Stadia. He won't know because CD Projekt Red didn't give a shit, and neither did Google. They didn't want to tell you. They didn't care to tell you that, hey, this highly anticipated game, the game that we have promoted on this platform for, I don't know, before the Stadia release happened. It ain't coming, that date. It's not. I don't know what to say. It's just, we'll talk about this in more length on Friday with the Stadia initiative, yes. But there are some things that I think we still don't know the full story for. It's kind of how I felt about the whole 2K situation, if you know what that was about. There's just some things missing. I feel like there's something more that we still need to know, and we don't. Why is this game being delayed? Is it because of crunch? Is it because maybe they're waiting for different hardware? Is it because COVID? Is it because that, you know what? This game just was a late development game. They've been working on it on their platforms for months, years, but Stadia just got back in the game with it. We don't know. We won't know unless the developer comes out and says it, or if Google has the cojones and does it themselves, which it's not really necessarily their job to do. But, it wouldn't be bad if they threw a bone every now and then saying, hey, we know you're really excited for this game, but we have to tell you we're not going to have it on the platform until late fall, early winter. That's all I have to do. That's all they have to do. Let us know. Clue us into that situation, because it can go a long way. We're still months later talking about communication. How many chances do you get before people start saying, I'm forgiving. I'm very forgiving. You come hit us with a Connect, and I could probably forget about this for the next month or two. But you can't just, rely on these pro games just dropping out of the sky, 5 of them, or giving us ESO with extra DLC for free, and just expect everyone to be okay with you not talking for a month. People aren't. People want to hear from you, and they want more of a direct line of communication, because that's what the gaming community is all about. They want that. Aaron Greenberg for Xbox is a perfect example of what is the right thing to do. Google, you have a lot more money than Microsoft. Hire someone. I know a guy over at Stadia Source would be very good for the job. But let me know what your thoughts are down below about Cyberpunk being not day and date for Stadia. I mean, many people will say that it was already delayed, or not delayed, it's just never coming on the first day. Whatever, it's fine, whatever. Fact of the matter is, Stadia's not getting this game when every other console is. I want to know what your thoughts are down below, because a lot of people are pissed off about this, and I dropped more swears in this video than I typically do, but there's let me know your thoughts. But the good stuff coming up, of course, as I already mentioned, the Stadia initiative comes back to you on Friday at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Of course, we are doing the benefit stream for Black Lives Matter. We're playing Just Dance the day after on Saturday at 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And I mentioned in the earlier part of the video that we're going to be talking about some live streams. That benefit stream will be the very last live video game stream we will see on this channel specifically. All the gameplay streams will be moving over to twitch.tv/Club Stadia. Channel's been there for a while, but we're going to move all our gameplay stuff over there. Kind of unclutter the channel a little bit, and because YouTube's weird about it, if I did a live stream after this video came out, people will probably miss this video because YouTube will say, oh, here's this latest content, we're going to show you this instead, and people are like, it's a game stream, who cares? Like, okay, not here or there. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to watch me play video games after Saturday, it will be over on twitch.tv/Club Stadia. And of course, if you missed my Twitter information, you are a member of this channel, which you can see all the awesome members here, there, wherever this ends up. It's probably going to be here because I'm kind of shifted this way. Wherever I end up being, it's probably going to be the other side. It always is. Members of this channel, starting in July, every Friday, will get a special video from yours truly, just about whatever I want to talk about, because without live streams, typically, the emotes I have are kind of superfluous, unless you want to do it during the Stadia initiative, and that's it. But, I felt like I'm kind of taking away a perk, so I want to give a perk back. So we are still doing the Stadia initiative here every other Friday, not every Friday. That won't change, so you'll be able to find our live content on Tuesday mornings and on every other Friday with the Stadia initiative. And then there's going to be exceptions, of course. So if there's like community events, like Stadia Super Saturday, like another PUBG Creators Cup, maybe showing off YouTube features whenever that happens. Another thing we could talk probably another 20 minutes about with Google and how they're kind of leaving us in the dark. All right, enough of that. So if you haven't already liked this video, share with a friend who is interested in Cyberpunk and, kind of pissed off that they're not getting day and date on Stadia. So I think it's enough. We've talked yeah, we've talked enough. All right. Let me know your thoughts about Cyberpunk in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thank you and party on.